Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the HD Nyuren from the Kokai Senki line. Now once again, I am a big fan of the series, which is why I am enjoying their kits. Now, the Nyuren, it's pretty odd because we actually seen this unit starting from around episode 2, or maybe I think on episode 1 we might have actually seen its appearance, but still, it was shown very early in the series, but now so far, we're getting this kit now, which is kind of an odd situation because we got the Bunya Boomerang pretty fast, but still, anyway, yeah, this is basically this unit is a grunt suit. This is a mass production unit, and I would like to mention this as well. This is a unmanned unit. So basically, if you watch the series, there's actually a command post or command center that controls these guys. So there's no human pilot inside of this mech. So I just wanted to point that out. Alright, so now let's get on to the review right away. So as usual, let's talk about its components. So first of all, what you get of course is obviously the Nyuren itself. Definitely loving the color, definitely looking, and so far, this is the most basic humanoid-ish looking kit or mech that we've seen in the line. So because if you've seen like the the Jogan, the Reiki, the Byakuchi, and etc., they definitely have that unique style that we don't really often see. And then the other units like the Bunya Boomerang or the Yamaim Ghost, yeah, they're not exactly humanoid-esque, but this one definitely has the most humanoid looking style. Alright, other than that, in terms of equipment, you get the fully open hands at the moment, so I am currently using those as well. And on the elbow area, we actually get these missile pods, so I'll be showing you guys that later as well. And then here are the other equipment. So other than the fully open hands, you get a set of trigger finger hands for left and right. So currently, just to save time, I already attached one of the trigger finger hands onto the gun here. Once again, there's no specific name of this gun, it's just called rifle, so yeah. Definitely have that Scar-ish look or something. Also kind of reminds me of the K2 that we use in Korea, but still, yeah, definitely has that. And here is a sticker for the scope. And you might have noticed that this peg here, this peg is actually meant for the weapon to be stored onto the back. So that's that. And then we also get the multi-purpose hand for left and right. Currently here is the left side. The right side is also attached to the axe here. Now, despite how the handle looks, you have to do the annoying, take off the handguard and then reattach it to use these weapons. So yeah. And then once again, here's another peg. So that means we can also store this onto the back. Definitely the axe is very simple looking. So yeah. And then finally we get a shield here, very basic looking shield, nothing too interesting here. But I do love the color separation here. Everything you see here is color separated pieces. And then on the inside we actually get an extra magazine. Yes, you can actually take off the magazine and then reattach it. Now the only thing is that you only get 2 magazines, so one has to be on the gun, the other one has to be so it goes onto the shield. So if you do happen to buy 2 of these, or if you don't want to use the magazine on the gun while it's stored on the back, you can always attach it to the other section here. Alright, so other than that, let's look at these stickers. So there's no leftover parts, there's no polycaps, and yada yada. So here are the stickers. So the green one is obviously the one that goes onto the rifle, and then these 2 yellow ones are the ones that goes onto the antenna on the head. So I'll point those out later. And then here is definitely, I got a little bit confused while building this, but they actually give you a sticker decal sheet for the eyes. So you actually get 2 of them, so just in case if you mess up, you can always have your second chance. So it's a very small sticker. It's actually a rectangular sticker that covers up a certain amount of area, so yeah. Alright, let me get this thing off its rotating stand and see what we got. By the way, this might be the last time you're going to be seeing this specific background. So I've already told you guys on my last video, I'll be moving out to a different house alone. And yeah, I won't be able to take this bookshelf with me. So yeah, I'm either I have to going to use a light box or use a different, background. Anyway, let's see what we got. So let's look at the head as usual. Now definitely, I'm not sure if this is counted as a mono eye, but still, the white section. So everything you see on the head here, other than the stickers on. So here are these stickers that goes onto the antenna. These metallic orange ones. So those are stickers. This white part here is a color separated piece. So on that white piece, you apply that decal here, so which becomes the eye. Although, yeah, I'm not sure if this counts as a mono eye. Definitely a odd choice, but still, yeah. So color separation wise, they did an excellent job. So other than the 3 plus the other eye decal sticker, there are no other stickers used. So yeah, they did a really good job on the color separation. They used 2 different type of tones of red, a light one and a darker one. And yeah, so the head can go down that much, very well done, and then up not so much when you think about it. And then the main neck joint itself is connected as a ball joint onto the main body, although the one that connects on top of the head is not exactly a ball joint. It's on more like a C-clip type joint there. So yeah, so 360. So other than going up, everything else is pretty much your standard style of head articulation. Alright, now let's get the shoulders. Now the shoulders are definitely interesting. So while usually typical kits that we usually see these days have a ball jointed shoulder, and that allows you to go forward and backward, but this kit, for example, has another joint onto the joint that actually holds the ball joint of the shoulder. So which is why we actually get a huge range of movement here. So we actually get a good amount of range of movement right over here. So we get a forward and backward movement here. Now because it's on the ball joint, 360 should be no problem, and then we can go upwards a lot, more than 90 degrees. And then let's see, now the joints might feel a little bit stiff, so do be careful when you're moving this. And then 360 twist on the lower arm is possible. And then bend wise, we don't exactly get a full bend at which this reaches this part area, but we do get a more than a 90-degree bend here. And then we get your standard ball jointed hands like that. Now these are all plastic joints, so keep that in mind. And then for some reason the wrist also has a huge amount of articulation. You can go up and down like that for the hands. Now although I think this is impossible for a human, but still that's a pretty good range of articulation. And here is that missile launcher here, so it connects to the elbow area right over here, and you can open this section up. I think yeah, you can open this up and it reveals a white missile here. So that's a pretty good design. Now if you don't like this aspect, you can always pop it off like that. So here is that peg, and so on. Alright, so before we go to the body articulation, let's look at the back here. So the back, I don't think there's a very simple looking back here, and you can see there's two ports here. So for example, you can definitely store in the rifle like this. Now I believe this is the standard way, but let's see if we can do it the other way around as well. So yeah, it seems it's possible. So you can either store them any way you want. Alright, so that's that. Now let's look at the main body here. The main body, pretty simple here. So you can go 360. I'm gonna rotate the lower section a little bit. So that's that. And then you do get a nice decent ab crunch. That's a pretty good range of ab crunch as well. Now you don't get a side to side movement, so yeah, but still this is a pretty good range of movement. So that's that for the body. Now let's look at the legs. So the legs are definitely interesting. So, or should I say the waist, because usually we have a side swivel and that's pretty much it. Now this one does have a side swivel, but it also allows you to move forward and backward like that. There is another swivel, there's another joint here that allows you to move the side forward and backward like that. So this is definitely a unique, articulation that we don't see every day. So a very interesting way of designing. Although I'm not sure what, not in terms of kit wise, but mechanical wise or engineering wise, I'm not sure what this brings. But still, that's a pretty good, an interesting aspect of this kit. And then here we have a back skirt. For some reason it does flop around, and that's pretty much it. Alright, now the articulation of the leg wise, since we do have the joint here, we can go about to the side 90 degrees or slightly more depending on how you angle it, and that's that. You can go forward. Now, not exactly 90 degrees, but because as you can see, the side armor here, or the leg armor here, is colliding with the waist section. So yeah, not exactly 90 degrees forward, but backwards you should be able to do so as well. And then bend wise, now the leg here, it can go a little bit forward, but it's not really meant to go forward. So you can slightly go forward like that, but still, normal articulation wise, you can bend that much as well. So pretty well done. And let's see. Okay, there we go. Now the feet are the most, bizarre looking feet. Now I'm not sure these are supposed to be considered as high heels, but yes, this is how it's supposed to look like. It's not backwards. Now we do have a good amount of surface, so you should have no problems balancing the kit here. Now the main ankle joint here that connects to the legs is a ball joint, and we do have a slight pivot thanks to that. So you do get a slight pivot, but it's not too much. But you can go forward and backward as well, and then rotate the feet a little bit because the armor is colliding its way. So you can go pretty much wiggle it around. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the kit here. So yeah, I think there's only one thing left to show, and that is the equipment. So I'll be right back once I've cleaned up this whole kit. Okay, I'm back. So here is the first demonstration here. So basically, I attached the shield onto the arm, and then I stored the axe onto the back, and am holding the rifle at the moment. So one thing you should notice is that depending on your pose here, and if you're going to keep the missile launchers onto the elbow area, the shield might get in the way, so you might need to rotate the shield. So the way how the shield connects is pretty simple here. There is a rectangular hole there, and you have a peg that can rotate 360. So you might want to rotate the shield, which that doesn't get in the way of the launcher, and then you can use the shield whatever you want. However, if you don't like this aspect, you might need to basically take off the missile pod or launcher there. So yeah, holding the rifle, you should have no problem because you have a dedicated trigger finger, you have a decent amount of articulation on the arms, and then since the wrist also has a good range of movement, so you should have no problem as well. And then here we have the axe stored on here. Now, as you can see, you can also technically store it the other way around, but that wouldn't make sense because then how are you going to reach the handle? Of course, you can technically reach it the other way around, but still, you get the idea. Alright, so we've seen that, so I'll be right back with the second demonstration. Okay, I'm back. So here is the last demonstration here. So I have the axe onto the hand. Now, depending on where you hold the axe here, it might feel a little bit on the wobbly side, but the more bottom you go there, it kind of locks it into place because of that extra, different, change of angle there. So you should have no problem as well. And also you can store as you can see, I stored the rifle onto the back, and it's a very stable connection. And also in the series, this is how they technically fire the missiles. They would basically, aim the missile launchers forward, and then hold up their arms and then fire. So that's the way how they used it in the series. So yeah, I definitely say you can pretty much pull off everything that you've seen in the show as well. And that's pretty much it for the review. So once again, now this may feel the most basic-ish kit out there on the Kyokai Senki line, but also at the same time, it definitely has its own charm. I love the color. The weapons are very standard, but still also fun to deal with. And this thing has some really interesting articulation, especially on the legs. And yeah, it's a very skinny-ish looking, design. But still, if you've seen the anime, it's something that you can definitely appreciate more. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the review. This was the review of the HD Nyuren from the Kyokai Senki series. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time!